gentlemen of the press, being the press release on the perennial arbitrary menace of land grabbing and thugs and land grabbers in Lagos State, and the need to call for the abolition of Land Use Act of 1978 and the promulgation of a new law called the Land Registry, Regulation and Administration Authority. Also, the need for the IGP of the police to establish the IGP Special Anti-Land Grabbing and Fraud Tax Office Unit of the Nigerian Police Force, which we are holding today at the Lagos Airport Hotel Ikeja, today, Tuesday, 28 November 2023. We wish to draw the attention of the general public to subsequent development experienced after fighting several and other notorious land grabbers cases in Lagos State in the recent time. Is of note to know that the property known at 10 Kudirat Abiola Way, Oregun Ikeja, Lagos, wherein there was a court declaration order where the property was validly ordered to belong to Mr. Olufemi Omola Fasehun, while Lagos State Court, under the same ruling, slammed a perpetual injunction of 20 million damages against Cardinal James Odumbaku, aka Babeto, and 7 others for trespassing on his private property, while the victim is still wrestling with the Eguaye and the Are Tomori Williams from forcibly invading and dispossessing the aforementioned property. The Lagos State High Court sitting in Ikeja has granted a perpetual injunction against Mr. Cardinal James Odumbaku Babeto and 7 others in land grabbing matter from trespassing on a landed property situated at 10 Kudirat Abiola Way, Oregun Ikeja, Lagos. The property was a property that was declared to validly belong to Mr. Olufemi Omola Fasehun. In a court ruling of October 25, 2023, which we have here with us, which is yet to be vacated by any appellate court as at date, the presiding judge, Honorable Justice Y.G. Oshola, declared and affirmed Mr. Olufemi Omola Fasehun, the victim, as the rightful owner of this property, situated at 10 Kudirat Abiola Way, Oregun Ikeja, Lagos. The judgment was sequel to a suit number 10-11239 IMW/2021, which Mr. Olufemi Fasehun suing for himself and on behalf of the estate of Ebenezer Olawale Oladipo Fasehun and on behalf of the beneficiaries of the estate of the claimant against Mr. Cletus Nwagu, Mr. Mukala Muili Esho, Otumba Ibukunle Akinjore, Mr. Oluwadare Olarewaju, Oba Olasesan Akingbola Ikudoro, Mr. Omola Jadubaku, and other persons which are unknown, and 7 other defendants. The suit was filed through the counsel Otumba Remi Adeoye and Mr. Pedro Esquire Comfort Aigbe Okoli, Oluwaseyi Esquire, and Oyetayo Ayinde Esquire. The claimant avers that between September 2021 and December 2021, the defendants have made several attempts to forcibly enter the victims and claimant land at 10 Kudirat Abiola Way, Oregun Ikeja, Lagos, with the aid of thugs and criminal elements, and on various occasions, the defendant and their hoodlums were resisted and prevented from doing so, and this prompted the claimant solicitors to write another petition on 17 December 2021 to the Honorable Attorney General of Lagos State and Ministry of Justice through the coordinator of the Lagos State Special Task Force on Land Grabbers, Lagos State Ministry of Justice, dated 17 December 2021. The victim claimant avers that notwithstanding, the aforesaid defendants are still making effort to enter into the land, sell same to unsuspected third parties, and using fictitious and concocted document of title. The claimant avers that the defendant have no defense to his action, as defendants are ruthless trespassers and notorious land grabbers. Claimant avers that they have suffered damages and still suffering from various sets of damages on their land due to acts of trespass committed on their family land by the defendant herein and their agent and privies. The claimants claim against the defendant jointly and severally as thus: A declaration that the landed property located and situated at 10 Kudirat Abiola Way, Oregun, Ikeja, Lagos, registered with number 6, page 6 in volume 431 at the Land Registry, Ibadan, via deed of conveyance dated 10 January 1961, is part of the estate of Ebenezer Olawale Oladipo Fasehun. A declaration that the claimant, as the administrator and beneficiary of the estate of late Ebenezer Olawale Oladipo Fasehun, on behalf of other beneficiaries of the estate, are the owners of the landed property located and situated at Kudirat Abiola Way, Oregun, Ikeja, Lagos, registered at page 6 in volume 431 at the Land Registry Office in Ibadan, via deed of conveyance dated 10th January 1961. A declaration that the claimant and his administrator and beneficiary of the estate of late Ebenezer Olawale Oladipo Fasehun, on behalf of other beneficiaries of the estate, are entitled to statutory right of occupancy over their entire landed property located and situated at the same address that we have earlier mentioned. An order of perpetual injunction is restraining the defendant and their servant, agent, and privileged, and whomsoever they derive title from the defendant from trespassing, further trespass on the land located at the same address so mentioned and date. Damages in sum of 20 million naira for trespass committed on the claimant's land on the same address so mentioned earlier. The judgment delivered in the suit on October 25, 2023, in a bench ruling, the presiding judge, Honorable Justice Y.G. Oshola, granted all relief sought by the claimant victim respectively. Our Lordship Honorable Oshola held that the matter was fixed for last adjourned date for commencement of case management conference today, but both counsel to the claimant as well as defendant were in court on the day. And the claimant, who is said to reside in the United States of America and regard the court as important, and in view of the order of the court, came to Nigeria for the purpose, and he is in court on that same fateful day. Unfortunately, neither the defendant nor their counsel in court as at date. Now the counsel to the claimant has urged the court to invoke the provision of an Order 27, Rule 5 of the High Court of Lagos State Civil Procedure Rules 2019 and apply same in the case. Now the Order 27 of Rule 5 provides us that if a party on his legal practitioner fail to attend the case management conference or obey scheduling orders, or is subsequently unprepared to participate in a conference, or fail to participate in good faith, the judge shall, in the case of the defendant, enter judgment against him where appropriate further needed. I have considered and found, according to the judge, the defendant and counsel in this matter suit have refused to comply with the court order. They have failed to comply with rulings with Rule 27, with Order 27 of the Lagos State High Court Civil Procedure Rule 2019. They have failed to attend a scheduled case management conference as at that day. Accordingly, in line with the provision of Order 27, Rule 5 of the judgment is hereby entered against the defendant in suit per claim writ and claim before the court, and the court so held. However, we reiterate in appreciation of the highly commendable judgment in concert with the counsel to the victim and claimant, Mr. Remi Adeoye, who had earlier applauded the judgment, describing it as a landmark and a victory for Nigerian victims against land grabbing and land racketeering in the City of Excellence, Lagos State. We by this ruling, the victims have been vindicated as once having earlier secured the court judgment dated 10th January 2019. The judgment was delivered by Honorable Justice G.M. Onyeabo, Mrs. of the Lagos State High Court, Lagos Division, against Madam Benedicta Fasehun and others. Despite the standing judgment, Mrs. Benedicta Fasehun is now conniving with a renowned land grabber led by one Areto Mori Williams, who has several other land grabbing cases at the Lagos State Land Grabbers Committee and the Eguaye family to fraudulently dispossess same property belonging to the victim, Mr. Olufemi Fasehun. It is on this premise that we call the urgent attention of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to abolish, as a matter of urgency, the Land Use Act of 1978, for it has failed to protect the wishes and interests of Nigerian citizenry, and also to promulgate a new law to register, regulate, and administration of land matters under the establishment of a national land licensing and allocation authority, only aimed at ensuring to end the ongoing notorious land racketeering menace in the State Ministry of Lands, where civil servants act in connivance in using fictitious and fake doctor documents of real and by this dispossessed landowners and at several times the ancestral communities with age-long history have suffered from these recurring dangers, most often especially in Lagos State. In addition, we are equally aware of the several other cases involving notorious land grabbers within Ikorodu, Epe, Ibeju-Lekki, Etiosa jurisdiction, with lives and properties worth billions of naira destroyed without any compensations. Regrettably, we wish to state that few questionable characters of the Nigerian police and legal and prosecution department of the Nigerian police that have been allegedly found culpable in connivance with judicial staff could not be said to be totally insulated from these notorious cases of land grabbing. Most times, senior officers are beneficiaries of lands in juicy areas of choice, as the case may be. To this end, it is expedient for the Inspector General of Police to look into land-related offenses, and same as terrorism, because land grabbers harass, intimidate, place their victims under intense fear, kill and destroy ruthlessly, hence precipitating our urgent demand for the establishment of a special anti-land grabbing and fraud task force unit in the Nigerian police force forthwith, who must undergo forensic investigation training to detect fake title documents and ensure to follow strict legal guidelines with synergy and collaboration with the Nigerian Bar Association in order to ensuring that this sensitive department functions well, because some lawyers, I want to repeat, some lawyers are involved in this heinous, arbitrary menace and criminal activities of land grabbing as well. We equally use this opportunity to allow the governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwolu, to commence strict land audits and regulation of all allotted lands, and the need to deregister any land allotted with fake and forged premeditated land title document and surveys, even regardless of signatures on it. Most recently, we received a copy of a forged signed document wherein the suspect threatening to forge signatures and impersonating a king, that is His Royal Majesty the Ojomo of Ajiran Land, Oba Adetunji Akinloye, and Balogun of Ajiran Land, Alhaji Yekini Olawale Bakare, both of whom their signatures were being forged, and this matter is currently undergoing investigation by under the Honorable Ladi Ajomale-led Public Petition Committee of the Lagos State House of Assembly, and also the Nigerian Police Force SCID Alagbon Lagos State, led by AIG Owonwa Idowu, as well as several other cases witnessed is what is going as part of what is going on in Ajiran Town in Etiosa, especially where two or more C of O's, that is certificate of occupancy, are granted to different people and granted deceitfully by the Lagos State Ministry of Lands. And we demand absolute justice and as well ensure appropriate punishment to any civil servant within the Lagos State Ministry of Lands or Ministry of Justice that are found culpable accordingly. We must end land grabbing menace now, because land grabbers are notorious urban terrorists. And injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. It is in this light that we are using this opportunity to call on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu that we cannot continue to apply the Land Use Act to resolving land issues, Land Use Act was a product of necessity under the military era. It can no longer function under democracy because the government cannot outweigh, the government, we repeat, cannot outweigh ancestral land owners. They can only regularize, ensure proper delineation of communities, but not for government to come into ancestral villages, take over their lands, demolish their houses, and allot such land to unknown persons. And those unknown persons will be an overlord on the Bale, on the kings, and community where these lands are located. And this, if continuously in this manner, will one day result to a revolution, will one day, will inevitably affect the peace and development of the state, because land grabbers have taken advantage of these loopholes to go and register community lands with huge survey plans in connivance with staffs of the Lagos state government. We are mentioning that this has led to pains. We have just been called this morning by a king in Orugo in Ikorodu axis, in Ikosi Ejirin, just this morning, that land grabbers are threatening, have taken over their lands. Every day I receive calls of people that are being killed, maimed with corpses. Every day we go into to fighting for this cause for the helpless Nigerians. We believe in this cause. That's why we are calling that this is not our own responsibility to do and provide. It's the duty of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because he swore to defend the Constitution, to protect and ensure the welfare and protection of the right of every citizen. And these are his responsibility vis-a-vis the governor of Lagos State. We cannot continue to watch helplessly while we have a sitting governor. Land grabbers will go to communities on broad daylight with arms and ammunition. They even have backup of police, the regiment of police on standby. When will land grabbing now end? If land is the only resource Lagos is priding itself to have, Lagos has so many numerous resources beyond land. This land we are talking about, if the government needs land, let them relate with the real community owners. Let them relate with the buyers of those that community might have sold to. Not just that the government will just come, overtake a transaction that the community might have been involved. So these are issues that we are concerned, that ancestral land owners must be protected. This is a scenario we are witnessing in Ikeja. Somebody owned land for over 61 years, but because the land is a virgin area and some persons are interested, they went there with fake documents. We can boldly tell you that they went with fake documents, and they are priding document that is meant for another land in Shangisha. They went and with their lawyers, and that's why I'm telling that the NBA must be involved, with their lawyers to swear before oath and present fake documents in order to take over people's land. It is in this light that the NBA must rise up. For this menace to stop, lawyers involved in these whole atrocities must be sanctioned. We cannot continue to allow helpless citizens die in Falo. We cannot continue to allow people in Ikorodu die in Falo. We cannot allow people in Echosa die in Falo. People are being killed, and these land grabbers are billionaires. They pride themselves as investors. They will come with so many juicy things to pride themselves, but beneath them, they are evildoers. And it is in this light that justice must be done, and President must set up an inquiry through the office of the Attorney General of the Federation. And as well, the Attorney General of Lagos State must also review activities of land grabbers. The judiciary are not left out. We must end land grabbing for the benefit of future generations. So we submit. Thank you and God bless.
To the House Committee on Public Petition and Human Rights, we have had 2 sittings, and I give kudos to the State Assembly Committee for their steadfastness in this matter. As at last week Wednesday, the committee visited the scene of the incident. We were surprised that there are some elements within either the Office of the Surveyor General or Ministry of Lands, where we have 2 people presenting 2 documents. They registered 1 land for 2 persons. One of them has been registered since 2010. Another one was registered in 2020. So at the tick of the committee sitting, the House was asking, don't you have a record that you are registering a land twice to two different names? It shows that there are some elements within the ministry that is conniving with these elements who are land grabbers. And land, according to Lagos State, is one of the best resources Lagos State is having presently, because that is the only way people are now trooping in. And land grabbing menace are spread across Lagos, be it Ikorodu, Badagry, Ayobo, Ojo. I want to mention particularly, before you get to Badagry, there is this particular community, Agbara, Ibejuleki, Epe, Aziz. So it has spread across Lagos. It's no longer in one jurisdiction, and this is a state where we have a law. We have an agency who is anti-land grabbing agency under the Ministry of Justice. Despite we have this, we are the rate of land grabbing cases is increasing in Lagos, which shows the Ministry of Justice it's either they are compromised or they are weak. It's either they are compromised or they are weak. Because if we have a law and there is an agency to that effect where enforcement needs to take place, and instead of reducing the rate of this crime, rather it's getting more increasing. So we are calling on the Lagos State government to rise up to occasion. The Attorney General of Lagos State must ensure that every land grabber is brought to book. And one of the pain aspects of it is that they always have backup of the Nigerian police force. Some men, don't let me generalize, some men of the Nigerian police force. Because in every situation, you find them visiting the site with arms and ammunition. In a society where arms were not legalized, guns were not legalized, but land grabbers paraded dangerous weapons in the broad daylight. And each time we have issue of land grabbing, possibly a life must be lost, apart from the property. Many lives are lost. Recently, what happened at Oworo? A community leader was killed by land grabber because of Owo Omonile, 5,000 naira. It is in the public domain. Our appeal go to the Ministry of Justice. Once somebody has been used as a scapegoat, we believe this issue will be addressed, and then this issue of land grabbing will be a thing of issue in the state.
Your name again, sir?
Alex Omotenshi.
Your position?
President, Center for Human and Socio-Economic Rights.
Thank you.
Point.
Okay, sir.
Case about it.
Your name, sir? Designation.
My name is Balogun Olatunji. I'm the Director General, DG Omoluabi Coalition. In addition to what the convener, Barrister Dr. Hassan has said, and another person there too, you see, I just want to make a case of what is happening in my immediate constituency regarding these land grabbing activities. He talked about the ancestral owners of the land. In my community there, Oshoru, near Ibeshe, the real owners of the land, they went to court, they've got the court judgment to the appeal court judgment. Still, they are unable to take possession of their land. These land grabbers, 2 years ago, they invaded the community. The son of the late Bale, Falilu Ayege, is still in detention as I'm talking to you now, over 2 years. The land grabbers whisked this boy away in front of his house, took him to the site in question, the land in question, displayed cutlasses and weapons. They are headed by the policemen too, and he was whisked away. Instead of charging the land grabbers for invading and encroaching on land, the rightful owners now are the ones charged to court for attempted murder. You can see. So their excesses is too much, and they are being supported by some of these traditional rulers who are supposed to know the best thing to do. They are the ones backing them up, and few people who are privileged to be in high places in the government. So we have to call on the Lagos State government, as he has rightly said, to have at least a one-day retreat for these traditional rulers, so I will be able to educate them and make it a stand warning to them that any community that this land grabbing crisis happen again, the Baale or the king there will be called and hold responsible. Thank you very much.
Well, just in brief, what I'm Comrade Balogun Ahmed. What I want to say is that, you see, the intervention we are calling on government, yes. But the major issue is that the government itself and the problem that we are having on this issue of land grabbing.
Yes. Yes.
Because the government itself are the land grabbers. We should not stop. We should stop deceiving ourselves. The government itself are the land grabbers. Because when government created an agency to be in charge of people that are grabbing land, and the same government are the one that are perfecting documents for them. And people in government, high-ranking officers of government, are the one using all these people. We are just saying that talks. No, they are the high-ranking persons in government that are using them to acquire all those lands. When you mentioned Urugbo the other time, because it's very closer to my home domain from Ikosejiri axis. People are moving. They are moving out from Ibejuleki, Itosa down to that angle now. They are hardly in any of the community that you don't see land grabbers within that community. Exactly. In fact, in some community we have four different groups of land grabbers. You know, taking over the community itself, not even the land alone, taking over community. I will cite an example. There was an aged man. His farms, the proceeds of his farm, is about to rape the proceeds of his farm, and this land grabber came on board. The man got struck immediately. Up to date, the man is still there. Can you imagine? So that is the extent that the land issue of the land grabbing have gone to. So maybe what we need in essence, either we like it or not, government still need to coordinate it. You get it? So we are appealing to the government and the Nigeria police because they are using their men. Thank you.
Any question?
Just one question.
Okay.
Okay.
No, well, let me quickly clarify. You know, sometimes the government have good intentions when they are establishing some of these issues, because I could remember before now there have been a lot of perennial cases of land grabbing, and that was the reason why the administration of I think is it Fashola brought about Ambode brought about the need to establish anti-land grabbing committee. Regrettably, that committee has become a shadow of itself, because no citizen in Lagos today can categorically point his chest that he will get justice through that committee. Land grabbers fund, I can repeat and I can state it clearly, or except there's another committee tomorrow. Land grabbers fund and hate some of the officials within this committee. You present your original document to the land grabbers committee. From that same committee, your opponent that you are fighting will access all those documents, and they will take it in and get those documents. And that is why we are reiterating that there must be land audit in Lagos State by Lagos State government. Without a proper land audit, you and I, you can wake up in your house tomorrow and you find out a land grabber is at the doorstep of your house using land document, court order. They even have fictitious Supreme Court orders. They carry all manners of gadgets all around with police. This is our pain, and that's why we are not just telling the Mr. Governor to correct his ways in this regard. This has become a perennial issue. In 1990, the issue of Morocco, the way Lagos State government grabbed land in the entire Victoria Island, the people of Morocco have not recovered till date. They are still suffering. Who is fighting for the masses and the good people of Nigeria that are in Lagos? Some people will target this is an angle to fight the Igbo. It's not an Igbo fight. Nobody is targeting anybody. They are just targeting helpless citizens who owns properties and investors in Lagos. So it's not about ethnic issue. Nobody should castigate the issue of land grabbing so that they don't divide us. We can confront these issues if we all stand together. And that is why we are raising the bar by telling that in as much as there are court judgments on a particular properties, some persons, because they are high ranking, there is a court judgment that was delivered against Barbato. We all know them. These are high ranking people in our society. It's not to defame them. It's for us to tell them to stop. If they continue to tell that they can do and undo, a generation will rise up tomorrow and will stop them inevitably. And by that time, it might have been too late. For we that are now rising now, it will become our problem tomorrow. This will become our issues, because if youth now see land grabbing as a form of business, if you go to Ajiran now, they have a slogan in Etiosa that if you don't belong to land grabbers, you will be penury tomorrow. That is, you must join the clique of land grabbers. And that has been a clarion call that we are talking about drug addiction today. Tomorrow, the most barren group we'll be talking about are the land grabbers, because once they can manage themselves to seize power of the state, you can never underestimate what they can do. If they manage, they have been seizing local government, they have been seizing House of Assembly, they have been getting their own representative all around us. Once they have the mindset to take over the seat of government, you and I are gone. So for me and you, is for all of us to rise up in unison. Tell President Bola Ahmed Tinubu today that the Land Use Act, by any means whatsoever, he must abolish that law. That law has given enough overbearing power to governors to dictate ancestral lands, when the king can no longer dictate how his community is being managed. Tomorrow, where his stool and palace is, will be vacated and he will have nothing. He will even go cap in hand to beg government to even give him an extra place for him to put his family. So we are advocating. We don't know anybody. We just believe that we have stumbled on enough of documents. That of Ajiran is a notorious one. And it's everywhere. The Ministry of Lands, and that's why I'm calling, Bodi Agoro must be mentioned in this case. He's a person that we must call to order in this whole issue. There is no way we can stop to mention, because he was part. I was involved in a matter in 2016 in Olokola. He mobilized without any registered company. I went to CAC to look at the name of that company, maybe one payball company. We went there, we could not find a registered name. The company did not even pay allotment money to the state coffer. Yet they went on the 16th of December, a few days to Christmas, and demolished houses worth billions of naira. We took up the case. Yet the citizens were molested. One of the citizens, Mike was jailed for 2 years under the order of Bodi Agoro. I can categorically state we are not mixing word any longer. These are our enemies. They cannot continue to tell us that we are mad. Why they will take over the state powers to wreck all of us? Why? If Fashola will hand over to Sanwolu, to Ambode, is this the kind of state and battle will be handing over to all of our own generation? That somebody somewhere has not been sanctioned. According to information at my disposal, within the Ministry of Justice, Bodi Agoro called one of the aide of the former Attorney General of Lagos State, informing him to mandate the magistrate that was sitting on a case of that Mr. Mike. His name is Mike Utomi, Alhaji Jubri. About 4 of them were picked, and we had got it from a grapevine that Bodi Agoro mandated through one of his aides that the magistrate must ensure, and they used the name of the former Attorney General to carry out that Stanley Act, that he must ensure that man must not come out after 2 years. And the man exactly spent 2 years. He took intervention of the Chief Justice of the state. We cannot end here. Nobody should tell us we should keep quiet.
All right, so if there's no response from them, what is the next action?
For me and all of us, we are not helpless citizens. We will tell Mr. Governor, we will tell every other person. You meet us at the barricade, and we'll tell how best we have to begin to activate our democratic right. It's our democratic right. We are not here to beg Mr. Governor. It's under our own payroll. The president is under our payroll because we are the citizens. What we are doing here, we are not defaming anybody. We just believe that injustice that has led to life loss. If any one of you or me, or we are even a victim, we have lost people close to us. We have lost properties of people close to us because those people are helpless. Nobody is ready to talk. But if it is for us to talk, let us talk the talk and let us shame the devil. It is very important that what we are doing today is to set a standard. Lagos is known for a state of laws. It shouldn't be wrecked with this menace of land grabbers. Non-Yorubas and non-people are beginning to look at it from different angles. It can set the state on fire. It is already growing. Maybe Mr. Governor is not aware. And we have not seen Mr. Governor visit any of these sites. He is aware that lives and blood of citizens are dropped on this soil without any reason. We are not in war with another state. We are not in war with another country. But we are in intra-war with our own self by enemies of the state. And it is in this light that we are not going to end. If it takes us to go to court to call for the abolition of the Land Use Act, we will file an action at the Federal High Court for the abolition of that law, because that law has overstayed its reasoning, and we believe it's repugnant to equity, natural justice, and good conscience. Thank you very much.
Your name is, sir?
Are Oladotun Azan.
Sorry, sir. With all apology to
We're not here to just speak by veto. I have made mention of another government official who is Bodiagoro for the fact that he was the PS of the land. We want him to be investigated. That's why we are calling on the IGP. This is a case. People have suffered as a result of one man's mistakes. I've just informed that there is a notorious case in 2016. I was there physically. If you Google 2016 land demolition, Olokunla, you see how much pain those people went through. Yet, the information got to us that this was the person behind it. Yes, we summoned him there, but they used the state powers to summon justice. And that's why it's now on Ashwaju's table. I'm one of the ardent supporters of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Sure. I go all in, way out. None of these people even fought the way I fought for him. So they cannot tell me they are more lover of Ashwaju than I. We are all in this together, and they cannot be more Nigerian than you and I. So that's why we are focused on what we are doing. What we are doing is for correctness. It's not to just indict and just to mention it. For correctness, that these individuals, if they fail to correct themselves now, it will become inevitable for their own generation to reap from their venoms, because they will never escape justice. If they escape, their family will not. And that is just a stand. We are just all here together as Nigerians. I'm passionate. Land grabbing in Lagos or in Nigeria, we must end it. It's terrorism. And let it be known, the same laws that apply to terrorism law, they should test it on land grabbers. Thank you.
Thank you. And then on the Mr. Hello, sir. You are from which media? Guardian. You asked, for your information, it was the Lagos State Land Grabbing Agency that led the land grabbing activities in 2018 at Makoko, that invaded Ore-Kalala, eventually ended up killing 2 innocent citizens of that community. So since the establishment of that agency, nothing positive has come out of that agency. Nothing. That's why we are saying even the land grabber agency themselves were the principal land grabber in Lagos. Because they perfect document for some elements to operate, and they 8 land grabbers. Tell them to come out with the number of prosecutions they have made. How many convictions have they succeeded in getting since 2016? And noise everywhere. Even before that 2016, land grabbing activities in Lagos is not as rampant as this. It's getting increasing every day by day. The area that were not affected now were few. So we we can only say this because we are passionate about it, because we see it as a dangerous activity that can affect the entire society.
The Lagos State House of Assembly visited one of the notorious land grabbing cases in Etiosa. What we are saying now, that they should not just restrict it to cases that are brought before them. Let them see and they have their eyes everywhere. They should preventing this cause from not getting beyond where it is right now. Because it will get to a time, court order will no longer hold landowners. Land grabbers, even no matter the military, no matter the police, might not be able to contain the revolution of the people. One day will come, they don't come home roost. We are only trying to prevent them and alert them of the dangers that land grabbing is now a new reign of business. And people that are doing this thing, they know them. Some are even, these land grabbers sometimes are even employed by the government to take over land allotment in some critical areas in Lagos State. That land grabbers will be the one to lead their thugs ahead, then police will give them backup. Not them giving police backup. It's the other way around. And this is an issue that you and I are witnesses of this. We've always said that even at the expense of all these things, there is no even adequate compensation for the victims. The victims are led to just die in penury. So for this not to be a stain on the image of Lagos State, that is not that Lagos you go, that you just buy land and land grabber will just come, and it will become a huge menace. They will begin not to know us as a drug baron state, but they will know us as a most notorious land grabber state. And if that toga is registered on the entire Yoruba land, I'm the president, Yoruba Council Worldwide, I will never want my land to be turned to Blood Island. And that is why I'm shouting. I'm calling with my authority as the president, Yoruba Council Worldwide, to equally inform that this is our land. Let all Obas begin to say the truth. Let all Obas begin to meet themselves from our Imperial Majesty, the Oni of Ife. Should summon an emergency meeting over the issue. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. So we just believe that rights of ancestral landowners must be protected and guaranteed by law.
On the last comment, let me burst your bubble regarding that. I'm still much more on this Ajiro community. While we visit the scene, surprisingly, one of the victims who bought land, the man relocated from UK, from Chicago, relocated back to Nigeria. On getting there, I bought land at Ajiro. Land grabber took over his land. He went to land grabbing agency in Kenya, Alausa, to pay for tax force so that he can regain his land. Pay over 7 million naira. At the end of the day, on getting there, there's nothing they could do. On Wednesday, when we get to the site, Ahmed, the man could not recognize his property. Okay. They are built on that land. A gigantic mansion. Yes. The wife was crying bitterly.
He was even pointing to the head of the agent that okay, show me that my land, show me my property.
He doesn't know his land.
Show me my property among them.
The constructions will work overnight.
And when they sold this land to their prospective buyers, what they do, they stand by him, prevent you from coming in. They stand by their agent to build. After that one was finished building, he now said to another innocent third buyer. So the man could not recognize his house.
All right, thank you.